Tenet 14. Death is it. In understanding energeticism, one must embrace the truths that one discovers. Do you deny that the sun is there? Do you deny that you are reading this? Do you deny that you are alive right now? Death has occurred to everyone and everything that has ever been alive and is no longer living. Why would you deny that it will happen to you? Why would you fear something that is inevitable? I know you really don't like to think about it, but the more you do, the more you will appreciate the fact that you are alive. You should already know what it is like to be dead, for death is simply not being alive, and you have not been alive for an infinite past. You do not remember being alive before you were alive, and you will not remember being alive when you are gone and dead for an infinite future. This is it. This life begins and ends. Do you remember being alive before this life? If you think that you were you before this life, then you very well may be delusional. You have a genetic code that carries information from the past. These are the patterns of our ancestors that travel through our genetics that shape the structure of our genetic DNA, brains, bodies, and help dictate how the brain operates. Let's just say that you do remember being alive before this life. Either your brain fabricated this for you to help you deal with the fear that you have never existed before, or the patterns of your ancestors are coming through your genetics and you do not know what to think about them. You may entertain these thoughts as much as you please, but first you must look at all that is around you, at the trillions of people who have died before you, and ask, where are they now? They're not here to tell you. Energeticism admits apparent truth first and foremost and accepts it first. Every other idea regarding what happens when we die is just humanity fighting to live forever, which does not seem to be a reality unless we get off this rock called Earth. The individual does not live forever unless we figure out how we can truly live forever by preserving this brain and or transplanting it into another body or machine or whatever we come up with to sustain the awareness that exists in this brain. I say this because it may be possible, and that will be natural too. Energeticism denies reincarnation of you, the awareness inside your brain, because we have zero proof. You go nowhere. You do not go to heaven. Grandma did not go to heaven. She died. We lie to ourselves and our children, and it only hurts our ability to live. Why do we tell children that people go on when they apparently do not? The children then go on to believe that this life is not the end and that they will live forever somehow. If you believe that you have an infinite number of moments to live, then this moment becomes less important since you have forever to work it out. It is for this reason that we become so nice and try to sew up our lives on our deathbed or when we are informed of our own demise. Apparently, you do not have an eternity to live, and our appreciation of this is weakened by believing otherwise. Energeticism cannot deny that we are alive right now. We cannot deny this as we read. An energeticist knows that the earth has not always been here. When the earth was not in existence, neither were we. Unless we came from another planet, nothing on this planet indicates that we came from another planet. Even if we did, how exciting would that be? An energeticist knows that the earth will not be here in the future, which, for the universe, is a blink of an eye. To put this into perspective for those who believe that the soul is immortal, what happens to all our souls when a comet destroys our planet? Do we just float around the universe aimlessly trying to find each other in new places for our souls to exist? You think that's funny? This is reality. The planet will not always exist, and eventually we will not exist on it. Until then, We have all this time to figure out what to do about it. We do one of two things. We stay and die with the planet, or we move to a new location just like ants that just had their home destroyed by your kid who thinks it's funny to blow up anthills with explosives or pours gas down the hole and ignites it. Please stop your child from doing that. How would you like that done to your home? We are no different than those ants, only bigger and better able to manipulate energetic patterns like the dirt that they use. Our planet is our anthill that gets destroyed. And just like ants, those of us that remain will do everything that we can to survive and go find another place to exist and rebuild. This is one of my favorite analogies. In your own existence, this is a crucial question for your belief system. Do you wish to live and die here, or work to get off this planet because we know it will not exist forever? Many of us have already answered this question for ourselves. Most likely within the next 50 years, we will be living on other planets and moons, most notably Mars and the moon. You just watch. You know nothing other than this life. Therefore, you can rely on nothing more than this life. I know very well that you want nothing more than anything to believe otherwise. By believing otherwise, you are actually selling yourself short. You hold back during this life, perhaps thinking that what you do will affect your next life. You may be reserving energy for some moment that is not now. This may be hard to accept, but we must believe that this is all we get to experience. Absolutely nothing tells us otherwise except ourselves right now. We always tell ourselves that we may go on, and we do so now, always in the moment. We do this because we are deathly afraid of not existing. There are many very serious problems with thinking that you will live forever. Although I must say, humans seem to be coming very close to extending our lives by 100 or so years. That is all you have to look forward to. I know that this may smash many of your hopes and dreams, but your hopes and dreams are attempting to smash reality and have done so for long enough. I'm not happy to bring this news to you. I want nothing more than for humans to believe in things that we can count on. When the brain ceases to fire neural signals, our awareness stops very abruptly. The patterns that we create, the things that we do, the impressions that we leave on people, all remain. And I will admit, after many conversations with people, that our energetic patterns emitted directly out of our bodies, like emotion, may possibly seep into living and non-living things like walls and other objects or places to be sensed by others later. It is nice to see some mystery remain. As you live this life, prepare for a death that is eternal non-existence. That is all we can know for certain. If something else happens, then you should be completely shocked and surprised at having thought that there would be nothing more. By doing this, you accept what you are seeing now. People pass and never come back to say otherwise. We need to enjoy each other's existence now. Essentially, we are all on our deathbed right now. We already know that we are all going to die. We already know that the human race will either kill itself or be killed by changing circumstances on this planet due to our changing environment. To deny this is to be blind to everything that we have discovered, while I am trying ever so hard to show you what we know to be true. We are losing our atmosphere, and the planet is gaining energy every moment. The human race is becoming more aware of this right now. The planet is slowly becoming inhospitable. While this is happening to us in the place we live, we seem to be preoccupied with putting down this race or that race, warring over land that is not ours, or any of the other drama that you find yourself wrapped up in. Why do we slap each other while we are dying? Is that what you want to do to a dying animal? Apparently it is, or else we would not be seeing the actions that we see all over the world and within ourselves. If you hate and fear death, you are only hating and fearing something that is true and inevitable, something that will and must happen. There is no need to make up a bunch of lies to comfort yourself or anyone else. Prepare for non-existence. Apparently, we do not get to exist after this. If it were different, then not only one person would haunt us, trillions of past lives would tell us different. These lives would not be only human. Every organism that ever lived would haunt everything. Energetic fluctuations and anomalies would be present all the time. Living beyond this life would be apparent and a fact of everyday life. But it is not a fact of everyday life. I only mention these things because that is where so many of you are in your minds on this subject. You do not want to die, ever, and neither do I, really, especially not now or in an untimely fashion. I'm not ready to not exist. Living is really nice compared to not living. Unless you are abused every day with no way out, then you may think differently. There is always a way out of your current circumstance, and it is not always easy to move away from that circumstance, as I have mentioned, but you must try to enjoy this life before it ends. Death is one of the many main reasons that we have made up so many false belief systems. We are afraid. We are afraid of not existing, so we tell ourselves that this cannot be all that there is. Apparently, this is all that there is. We were not alive before, and we will not be alive again. Your brain hates this idea and will fight with you a lot. Try not to be afraid of the apparent truth. Everything that is real points to this apparent truth. There are two paths that you may follow if you believe this information. You can abuse yourself and others until and to death, which is what we see and understand has been happening anyway, or you can try to be courteous to all those who share your fate. You have nothing to fear after this life because you will experience nothing. Nothing happens for you after this. Life ends. We must believe this first and foremost in order to live appropriately. We are bonded together by death. You know how you regret ways that you were and things that you said to a person or animal before they died? We need to realize these things before people die and treat each other as if we will all die in the next moment, for this is not far from the truth. If you have these regrets, then you are a fool who has problems acting appropriately to other humans. We all have a very difficult road before us, and we are not making it any easier by ridiculing and whipping each other before we die. Do you enjoy slapping a person moments before they die? When you put someone down, that is what you are doing, for they may turn around and die. You then think to yourself, I wish I had not done that. I would like you to think about that now so that you may be more considerate. We are united in life and in death. These are two things that we all have in common. I will not live on. When I die, that is it. I do not look forward to anything at all. That is all that I can glean from the universe. It does not tell me any different. There is no point for me to imagine something different. I do not mind that you will act like you love me more once I am gone, but I would really like to know that before I go, s'il vous plaît. You may do the same thing to me that you have done to all the other great thinkers and hold me up high long after I am dead. You will not be holding me up high. You will be admiring what I did. I will be dead and gone and unable to appreciate that you will be appreciating all that I tried to do for you. Through my studies, this observation has saddened me many times. No one comes back to say, thank you for finally realizing that I was correct and helpful to our human existence. Do not say that I am still here watching you. You are watching yourself. My spirit does not live on. The patterns that I have helped to create and reorganize will continue to change you, and you will never be able to ask me what I meant. I will not get to see how the human race reacts to this once I am dead. This is partially why I am doing this now. I would like to be here for you for a while before I die. People have never believed in the simple truths right before them and inside of themselves. I am very eager to see what you will do. I have serious concerns about you believing what I am telling you. I think many of you will go quite crazy knowing there is no real reason to any of this and that we make it all up. This is not new. People have always done crazy things to each other because they are making it all up, as we may notice today. Those who believe what we have made up are putting themselves in a position to be victims or subjects to those who made it up in the first place. You have the power to make up whatever you want and do whatever you want. With this realization, I hope that you will believe first things that you cannot deny. Then you may embrace yourself and others as the universe living on a planet. If this universe is as we see it, then you have nothing to look forward to after this life. I must attack this because it has given rise to many destructive forces. If you need to ask what those destructive forces are, then you are probably one of them. Open your eyes for everyone's sake and accept your own demise, as well as the possible demise of our entire race. With these ideas, we must live together. Life is much different than death. Life is everything that you experience. Death is zero awareness, just like what we experienced in the past, an eternity of not being alive, an eternity of death. Enjoy the moment before you cannot. Seize the day before the day seizes you. Feeling as though I need to talk my way out of your thoughts, I would say that our deaths should be prepared for, and we should rejoice in the life that a person led and not be incredibly saddened by their non-existence. You will throw a party for my death. I did my best here. I will not be buried in a cemetery. That takes up way too much space. I plan for my body to be buried in a forest and have a seed from a redwood tree placed in my chest. You may visit this spot if you wish, with me, before I am dead. If you do visit my tree, please know that I would rather you visit yourself in memory of me. You are what matters, not me.